whenever we're doing the Van Dijk Ramos comparisons, people said, "Oh my gosh, Van Dijk is amazing. Ramos gets all these red cards." I said, "No." When I look at Ramos, I can see his defending. I can actually see the defending that he's doing, and he puts himself out there. And by putting himself out there in ISO situations, he may get a red card, but he puts himself out there to defend. Van Dijk was always backing off. And Van Dijk relied on the way Henderson used to do in protecting him. Why did you see Van Dijk shouting at Milner so much in the game against Newcastle? Because Milner couldn't do that legwork of giving him that buffer and protection that he was so accustomed to. So now that Henderson and Milner can't do that defensive work, and now have to do some real ISO defending, it's exposure season. And what we're now seeing is all of you guys like Tom who are trying to put Van Dijk in the same stratosphere as Cannavaro, Desai, Nesta, Baresi, Stam, Terry, Rio. You are mad.
He's barely.
And what we're not seeing is that these guys, they're frauds. Like Van Dijk, he's a fraud. He's a fraud. So no, Trent, I'll give you Trent. That Trent is still like, I mean, okay, look, people can say that how much did that Pickford injury affect Van Dijk? That was a serious injury that may have had a knock-on effect upon him. But I still feel that despite that injury, the fact that Van Dijk can't rely on that defensive cover and now has to do some special defending, which a Ramos can do if he's called upon, shows me that Van Dijk was never as good as peak Ramos. And let's not even begin to talk about the greats, Desai, Nesta, Cannavaro, Rio.
But basically, your point is because you don't like Van Dijk's defending style, Ramos is better. They're both effective defenders. It's just Van Dijk backs off and waits for the attacker to make the decision. Ramos is proactive.
No. You see, Tom, there are two types of defending. There's the anticipation defending where you read the game, and there's the ISO defending, which that I can now take down this play with the ball in an ISO situation. Both are very important. Van Dijk, great at reading the game, superb. And he relied upon that because he had the protection of Henderson. Now that protection is away, you now need to do that ISO defending because you need both to be a great defender, the reading and the ISO defending. If you can't read the game, you're not in a situation where the attacker has to now face you. And I always question Van Dijk's ISO defending capabilities, which he now has to do. And now he now has to do because he doesn't have the protection. It's looking a bit sketchy. So this goes back to Klopp. And this now, I'm sure Terry and Nixie will like this. Building a team is hard. Rebuilding a team is even harder. Breaking apart a team and rebuilding it is hard. Fergie built, I think, 3 teams. 3 totally different teams. And all became successful. 7th year at Dortmund, I think he almost got Dortmund relegated. Now you can say that a lot of guys were taken away from him and everything, but at that 7th year, Klopp didn't know how to revitalize that team. The very tough question Liverpool fans have to ask is, does Klopp know how to say, Firmino, Milner, Henderson, thanks for your services, now F off. I now need to bring in some new guys to now take your place. I think that Klopp is loyal to a fault, and because these guys gave him so much success, he's still trying to prove them rather than say, no, I need a Firmino replacement. I need a Henderson I need totally new guys because I need to build a new team. And also, Terry, there's a name that you didn't mention. His name is Sal. His name is Sal. Until he starts scoring goals, the man that disrespected my Senegalese brother, until he scores another goal, his name is Sal. Because, Tom, talk to me about Salah. Because it's been 5, 6, 7 games right now, and he's looking funny under the lights. And he's now on $500,000 a week or something. Talk to me.
Minimum.
I mean, what do you want me to say? The game I will give him crap for is Napoli because